This is a live Channels television event.
Welcome everyone to Channels Television's continued coverage of the APC National Convention 2022. I'm Shiwaki Baloye.
And I'm Maokwe Ogun Yusuf. The temperatures are finally coming down from a sweltering 40 degrees Celsius it was here. And now I think we are around 37 degrees Celsius. It's the atmosphere is that of a carnival, as it ought to be in a democracy.
Absolutely.
Sure.
They say election is a festival of any democracy, but we're seeing something that looks so much like a carnival, very close to the kind of anxiety, the kind of anticipation you see in this kind of political event. It is tensed, it is anticipation, it's anxiety, all put together, some kind of frenzy happening right here at the Eagle Square right here in Abuja.
Well, I can tell you that it is masked by all the celebration you see around. Maybe that's why there's plenty of music.
Absolutely.
But you know, Shewon, we should be asking the experts here. And we're very pleased to be hosting the governor of Imo State, Senator Uzodimma, who is right here in our makeshift studio.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for coming. I know you are carrying on you two responsibility. Is the chair of the Screening Appeals Committee and also the Special Committee on Monitoring. Thank you so much for coming tonight, this evening. Can you give us an understanding, first and foremost, when will this event, this convention, start effectively? I think the convention will start as soon as the president arrives. Right, so with what we're saying, maybe we should give a brief description of what is happening in the arena. In the last 2 or 3 hours, it does look like there's a lot of inactivity. All of a sudden, we've seen the arrival of governors, arrival of leaders of the party. Around the state box, it was somewhat empty 2-3 hours ago, but you can see a few empty seats there. But some of the governors and leaders of the APC are already arrived. We can see right here the former national chairman of the APC, Adams Oshiomhole, in the state box. You can see leaders of the party in the National Assembly. That's the seat of the president and the vice president when they arrive on the arena. We understand that members of the National Assembly of the APC are also here on the ground. Members of the diplomatic corps and delegates of the APC political party are also here.
Well, oftentimes, you know, these events usually have to follow protocol. Initially, when they gave their lineup of events, the speaker was supposed to arrive at about 2 o'clock, followed by the Senate president, and then the vice president, then the president. We're hearing some stately music in the backdrop right now, which could be signaling the fact that perhaps some real state officials are about to arrive anytime soon. And it looks like the event is about to start proper.
If you look at the stands there, Mark,
yes,
those stands were almost empty earlier on, but look at it. On the outside, I was saying earlier today that I'm imagining that the kind of crowd that we see outside of the Eagle Square might be more than, because we see in thousands, you know, there are hundreds, they are marching, jubilating and dancing. But we're seeing this similar mood right at the arena here. You know,
Sean, so when you were speaking of tension earlier, I wasn't quite certain who was feeling the tension. Was it the political actors? But I knew certainly it wasn't the people who were around the square. They looked like they were in the mood for a carnival, and they were here to market their candidates.
Because, you know, I was talking about tension because I was having conversation with some of the politicians who were thinking about consensus, because the party said it was going to employ consensus. Maybe we should ask the
certainly
about the consensus. Where are we at on the issue of consensus? How many positions do we know now that have been totally arrived on the consensus table?
I'm trying to wait until we have a very successful convention.
Okay. So we understand that a number of seats, I mean, he already said we should wait until the convention itself eventually opens to know which seats are open for consensus and which ones are going to be voted upon.
But one thing I must tell you is that
yes,
all the 22 governors are united, and we're loyal to the president and to the leadership of the party. And there is no dissenting voice. We are working out. This convention is like a family business, and we're going to sit here as a family, live here as a family, conclude the convention as a family. I have no doubt in my mind we will have a successful convention.
What gives you that level of confidence? Because what we heard behind the scenes was that why the reason the convention has not started properly and according to time is because there's plenty of negotiation going on behind the scenes, plenty of horse trading going on behind the scene. Is that what is currently going on?
I don't think so. Rather, contrary to that, is traffic congestion and the automated system that is being used for accreditation. We only have 2 accreditation points, one at the International Conference Center and the other at the old parade ground. And they are being conveyed, delegates are being conveyed by buses to the venue. And the traffic has been so tight. I think that is responsible for the delay. But to ask whether there is any problem, there is no problem. As at last night, all the 22 governors are committed, we are united, we are loyal to the leadership under President Muhammad Buhari, and there is nobody that is going against his wish.
So would you say that it is okay for those who say that a coronation is going to happen here today, not a voting?
It is not a coronation. We are going to elect our officers through 3 modes. Some of them may be elected through direct primaries from the field, according to our constitution, through indirect primaries, which will be delegate election, or through consensus. These 3 modes are all allowed and provided for in our constitution. So there is no unusual thing that will happen here today.
You can see Mark right up in the sky. You can see helicopter hovering around the arena. You can see military that play music in the background. For you as a politician, perhaps on a lighter note, what does this kind of atmosphere give you? What does it remind you? A festival in the village, a New Yam festival, or what kind of atmosphere does it remind you of?
You can see the mood of the people. People are excited, people are jubilant, people are socializing, and people are happy that our party is doing well and growing, and that the reasonable expectations are not being disappointed, and that by the end of the day, that APC still remains the party to beat.
What gives you that impression? Because I think Nigerians will be the ones to tell you whether or not you are the party to beat, because 2023, you've not even agreed on zoning. Your party has been finding it difficult to even elect party leaders. Today, we understand that out of the 7 or so aspirants for the national chairmanship, 1 has not agreed to consensus. You are the chairman of the monetary committee set up by the party. How far have you come with that task?
Well, I can tell you that out of 36 states in Nigeria, 22 are governed by APC. We are the majority party, and I have not heard of any state leaving APC to another party. So we are still dominant. We are the dominant party. We are the majority party. We are the ruling party. And given these 3 credentials, I'm very confident that we are still the party to beat. 2, on the issue of election of officers, if we're able to agree on consensus on any of the positions, it is allowed by our constitution. If we are not able to agree, it will be done by election. Neither of these will mean disagreement to the extent that it will affect the party negatively. But it is all politics and democracy.
Let's see if my producer can help us locate the military band. I was in the boys' brigade when I was growing up. The sound of that music just makes me want to come and to remind me of my days when I was in the boys' brigade. I don't know what it reminds you of, Mark.
Well, I told you, Shehu, I'm no stranger to Eagle Square and the state events that happen here. And I know that this signifies that, you know, the big masquerade whom they've been waiting for to start this convention is close at hand.
Yeah, absolutely, you can see that. But we sincerely want to appreciate you, Your Excellency, for coming. Thank you so much, and I wish you the very best. Don't be surprised we might find you.
I will come.
Back into our studio. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Have a wonderful one.
Thank you
so much. Appreciate it. Yeah. So, His Excellency, the Governor of Imo State, Senator Hope Uzodimma, who's been speaking with us. We are gauging the temperature and what is happening in the arena. And as far as this is concerned, Mark, you are not a stranger, like you said, to the Eagle Square. But
I'm a stranger to conventions of political party. I must be honest, been on this job for at least 13 years right now. So this is my first time in the political convention of a political party. Been watching from far away, But to be in the atmosphere is certainly another business entirely. And I can tell you, it's very different. It's different from the state events which you would normally have, say perhaps the inauguration of the president or the celebration of Democracy Day or October 1st, Nigeria's Independence Day. Those are separate events from what you have in the convention of a political party. Wading through the crowds here today to find my way here.
That's the former governor of Imo State, who is a presidential hopeful also, Senator Rochas Okorocha, and that face mask on the man seated beside him. Okay, that is Senator Ali Sharif,
yes,
who had, stepped down from the race. He was eyeing and hoping to be the national chairman of the APC.
Oh, he had some massive billboards around the Federal Capital Territory.
Just at the entrance.
You couldn't miss them if you were coming into the city, Sean.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's been there for months.
Yeah.
And up until the last time that he stepped down. But I mean, for the pictures that we're seeing, the seats are still empty for the president, for the vice president, for the senate president, and also
the Speaker of the House of Representatives.
The APC balloon in the sky.
Well, as we did say earlier, and we continue to emphasize, it is a festival, it is a carnival, and we know that our correspondent, Kayla Megwa, is right in the heart of the square. Perhaps we will be able to cross to her anytime soon to give us a feel now that the martial music is playing now. Maybe the mood in the square is beginning to change, and she can give us an update of that.
Absolutely. We will go to Kayla just in a moment, but let's remind our viewers right now in this continued coverage of this very crucial APC National Convention holding at the Eagle Square in the nation's capital, Abuja. Expectedly, about 7,000 delegates are expected on this ground today. Some of them are voting delegates, some of them are observatory delegates, some of them are statutory delegates who are going to, one way or the other, partake in this exercise. One thing that is certain is the party want to have a new leadership. How do we go about it? The Electoral Act has provided 3 modalities: the consensus, the indirect, and the direct. The party says it wants to go by consensus. How far that will be, the only time will tell. And we will get to hear how do we go about the consensus agreement in a moment.
Well, Cheryl, you know that the APC is still a party in formation. You know how they came about some time ago, not too long ago, was it in 2014? When we had the 3 major political parties, the APC, beg your pardon, the ACN, the TPC, the Congress for Progressive Change, and then AMPP, and then of course a faction of APGA,
and NP, a portion of PDP and PDP at the time.
All of them coming together to make up what we now have as the APC today, the All Progressives Congress. They have had a tumultuous time, you know, ensuring that they're able to merge and, you know, come together as one. So this convention is crucial for them. When you look at what they've had as a leadership, it's not been exactly smooth at the top. And we wonder what will happen here, looking at what has happened in the last 18 months with the leadership of the political committee. It's not been very easy to come and arrive at this date, March 26th. I think the president had to make sure, or had to say that this date was sacrosanct indeed. And, well, they've made it happen, haven't they?
Plus the fact that the party is also treading on a very tight rope, considering now the timetable for an election, which the INEC has released. The party is treading on a very tight rope. He has between April and June, same with all other political parties, to conduct a presidential primary. And so it's incumbent on the party, or it's very pertinent for the party to conduct a national convention, have a leadership in place that will now conduct the primaries across board. I guess my colleague, Kayla Megwa, is now ready to give us an understanding of what is happening at the heart of the arena. Kayla.
Well, we're still looking at arrivals right here at Eagle Square. The place is actually more packed than it was in the morning, but lots of people coming here. We're still waiting for the big four, the president, the vice president, the speaker of the House of Representatives, and the Senate president. But for now, we're seeing a lot of diplomats who are here, party leaders from all over the country. We were told over 7,500 delegates at this particular convention. It's a very crucial convention, one that comes on the wings of a lot of controversy and a lot of back talk and a lot of questions about the future of the All Progressives Congress. But this mammoth crowd here and those outside of Eagle Square are focused on ensuring that the APC is positioned properly for the 2023 elections, trying to get its house in order. The leadership of the party is what is going to be voted on today. Some consensus, some voted, we're hearing, but it's basically going to be a way that the party can arrange a structure in such a way that by 2023 they will have what it takes to win the elections if they're voted in by the Nigerian people. It's a step in the right direction, considering the fact that over the past few months there have been a lot of rancor, a lot of controversy trailing the All Progressives Congress. But this particular convention, in fact, was in question. Some people didn't even believe it was going to happen. But we're seeing everybody here today, and basically with these arrivals and with this type of camaraderie that we're seeing from party leaders of the All Progressives Congress from all over the country, there is a very strong possibility that the APC might get its house in order, and that's something that we'll be watching to see. We'll also be trying to see what particular candidates will be consensus candidates, what kind of candidates will be voted in. We'll also be interested in hearing what the leaders of the party will be saying at this particular convention. So I'm really looking forward personally to all of the speeches that are going to be made. The core message for the All Progressives Congress in the past few months has been, how do you unite? And they've been talking about unity as a party, how they are going to be one. The APC has been spoken of in many quarters as a bed of strange fellows, people who come from this block and that block and this block. So the idea for this particular convention, which is to put everybody together and get them ready to take over power if they win come 2023. But right now, festive moments, people are parading all over the place, but basically still awaiting the arrival of the Big Four as this particular convention kicks off.
All right, my colleague, Kayla Megwa, giving us some updates on the ground in the heart of arena. One thing that also very significant, Mark, is the fact that this has effectively turned into a campaign arena. Also, you can see the posters and the banners of those who are eyeing one office or the other. You can sign as much as you can at the arena. You can see them. All right, so this is on site that I love so much. The military band, playing those instruments there.
It's always quite a sound to listen to, Show.
Absolutely. It just gives you a sense of the kind of celebratory mood that you find in this kind of environment. It gives you a sense that the people can actually enjoy the mood while waiting for the exercise to start. Talking about waiting for the exercise to start, we are now being joined by a minister in the federal cabinet, a former governor of Rivers State, and the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amaechi. Thank you so much for joining us on China's television.
You're welcome.
Let us ask you, you're privy to what is happening. When is this convention going to effectively start?
Well, I'm not a member of the caretaker committee. We agreed to start at 1, but they're not here. The president was to arrive between 3 and 5. I don't know what time. So we're here in compliance with the time, hoping that as soon as the president arrives, we'll commence this. But I'm sure the president is waiting for us to be ready. But you know him, he's a stickler for time. And I'm sure that everybody seems not to be completely ready. So once everybody is ready and they let the president know that we're ready, he will come. What do you sense that is delaying when you say not ready? What do you sense that is drawing back? I mean, the accreditation. Don't forget that it's nearly 7,000 delegates that can vote. So they have to meticulously ensure that these 7,000 are here and they're not being impersonated. That's what I mean by being ready.
So let us get a sense of this. When eventually you decide on what mode you're going to adopt for this convention in terms of the voting pattern, if it is consensus, will you still have people voting to endorse the consensus candidates?
Of course. Because it's not enough to say it's consensus. The people must show that it's consensus. So we'll vote.
So it's going to be a voice vote?
No. I doubt it will be. They will need to see the physical voting to confirm that it's consensus. Because voice vote will not be enough.
How many of those positions now have been totally confirmed as consensus?
It is a mixture. 80% consensus. In the sense that those who, chairman 100%. Now the rest, people are saying, no, I'm going to run, despite the fact that the majority have agreed. So the majority will have to express that view by putting their votes down, and the minority will have their say by also putting their votes down. At the end of the day, I expect that the party will announce the winner.
How big a hurdle is the requirement of the Electoral Act demanding that all members, everyone involved who has expressed interest in a position, agree that they are opting for the consensus option? How big a hurdle has that been?
That's why I say to you now that because of that law, the only 100% consensus that we have is the chairmanship. Okay, there is one South-South publicity secretary. The publicity secretary in the South-South. There are a few of them like that in the zonal areas. But the national, people are still contesting the consensus. They were allowed to express their decision in compliance with the Electoral Act by allowing them to go and vote. So whoever emerges at that point, who will accept?
In a long time, this is going to be the first time you come to a convention as a non-voting delegate. How does that make you feel?
No. I think the party is wrong. I think so. But there is already a judgment of the law, of the court. Until that judgment is discharged, the law is that Section 84(12) is not part of Nigerian law. Until the Court of Appeal says otherwise or confirms it.
I was going to come to the question, but I was asking about your personal feeling. How does it make you feel that you come to your franchise is in your pocket and you cannot exercise it?
You see, that's why the National Assembly should have realized that what they are denying us, that our right to vote, that part of that law is made to address selfish interests. Purely made to address selfish interests. And I was in the parliament. What we are told in the parliament is look at the nation, don't look at your interests.
So I want to ask you, we've seen your banners here. A lot of people are campaigning for you ahead of 2023. How does that make you feel? Does it finally endorse the fact that you're coming out to run?
The problem we all have is that I wear glasses and I'm not seeing enough my banners. That's the problem.
But you can hear.
No, I've not heard.
You've not heard people saying Rotimi Amaechi is running for president.
I have not.
Do you want to be president?
There's nobody who doesn't want to be president. Doesn't want to be president.
Have you spoken to the president about your ambition?
Did I tell you I have an ambition? I said, don't you want to be president? Everybody wants to be president.
I don't want to be president.
Oh, if you don't want, everybody wants to be president.
Do you want to be president, Mark?
Be honest.
Not now.
Be honest. You want to be president. Be honest. You're my friend. You want to be president. You want to be president.
We ask the questions on this platform. We ask the questions on this
as my friend, you want to be president.
Why don't you want to answer the question?
What question?
Your banners are everywhere. Making my way into the square, I saw how many positions where your banner was. Rotimi Amaechi for 2023.
I didn't see, why? The crowd was so much.
So you didn't see that.
They literally pushed me across.
Are you saying that you don't know of any of these groups of people who
I have
are
not seen the banners you are seeing. I hope you're not seeing this spiritually.
What about the support groups? Have you heard about the support groups?
That's why I asked you that. I hope you're not seeing this spiritually.
But you must, you're a politician, and you must have heard that now there are posters of you donning an Igbo cap, portraying you as a Southeasterner, and preparations.
I wear all manner of dresses. I wear the Hausa Fulani Babadiga. I wear the Rivers dress, for which I'm very proud of. I wear the Igbo dress, which I'm very proud of. I'm very proud of the Hausa Fulani dress I wear. I wear the Yoruba dress. I'm a Nigerian.
So tell us, in very clear terms, are you going to run for presidency?
Why don't you think I should ask you, are you going to run for president?
No, I'm just asking you.
You are the politician. We are just journalists.
I'm a journalist too.
You're not.
The microphone.
You're not.
You're holding one.
You are the
one. I want to work for channel.
Why is that such a difficult question to answer? Why is that such a difficult question to answer?
Is it every exam question you attempt? You're a student. When they give you questions, you attempt all the questions. You attempt all the questions.
That's what we're asking. Why is it such a difficult question to answer?
Because it's a difficult question. If you go to, there was the test we wrote in school, and the guy got up and said, I'm not going to write. The teachers asked her, why? I didn't prepare for this one. Said the one I prepared for.
Are you afraid of all the other contestants who have thrown their hats into the ring?
You know the funniest thing is that you know me very well. If there's one thing I don't lack courage. I don't lack courage. Once I make up my mind on anything, I zoom into it. The worst that can happen is what? Death.
So same with your presidential ambition.
Why are you trying to answer?
So is it that you haven't made up your mind then?
About what?
You haven't made up your mind because you said
About
when you've
what?
made up your mind about something, you will throw your heart.
You have the courage.
I just
You
say
have
that
the courage
whatever
to
I
push it.
want to engage in,
Yes.
I have the courage to engage in.
So is it that you haven't made up your mind about
You know, it
this?
takes a lot to run for president. You have to talk to your wife. My wife has not been spoken to in case even if I had an ambition. My children, my priest, my God, everybody. So forget about presidency. That's not the issue now. The issue is the convention.
Which of
this
the-
convention does not where you elect the presidential candidate. So
Which of the consultations have you concluded?
No.
No, you've not spoken with your wife?
No.
Not your children?
Why are you interested in that question? I have answered the question several times. You're still not satisfied.
Because if you're not seen as a contender,
Is that an answer
we
you're looking
wouldn't
for?
be.
Is that an answer you're looking for?
We just wanted yes or no.
Is that, okay, which of them? Choose the one you want.
We wanted to know whether you are running for
Choose the one
president.
you want. I will answer you. Is it yes or no you want?
The yes one,
want
because
the
we
yes?
know you want to
You
run.
say yes.
Are you consulting us? Are you consulting the journalists on this program?
Yes, I'm consulting you.
All right, then. Give us a sense of what is happening. Your party has been through a very difficult time. This is perhaps the most turbulent period in the life of the 8th year of your party. Do you see an easier next few years for your party, considering those who are of the opinion that after the Buhari time in the as president, your party might experience more turbulence?
No. Every party has a period for which there are interests, especially when there's a transition period, when the president is leaving office or another president to emerge. Obviously, there will be too many interests that will be involved. It is this interaction of interests that people see as turbulence. It must happen. Nobody gives you power. Nobody just comes to you and say, I like you, take power, I like you, take power. It's these different interests that are interacting amongst themselves that you can say, you can refer to as what you refer to as turbulence. We are gradually resolving it. The party is gradually taking a shape. The party has reached a solution that there will be consensus as far as the chairmanship and other positions are concerned. In that same manner, I'm sure that further or subsequent offices will be resolved in the manner where turbulence will be avoided, so that we can actually go and address PDP. If we don't, we have to be careful because these people called PDP, they can.
In its journey to a merger, because people have said the APC has merged in name, but it's truly yet to merge in spirit, to merge in body. How do you see this convention fostering that merger even further after today?
You see, from what you have seen, the merger has produced different kinds of people. The different parties appear to have disappeared for one party called APC. That's why it doesn't matter whether Abdullah Adamu came from any party. Everybody came together as one APC to choose Abdullah Adamu. So it didn't matter. Over time, you will be seeing the differences disappearing until it will come out as one indivisible and strong party.
If you were to merge that journey in 100%, if it was 0 at disunited and 100 at united, along that spectrum, where would you say your
70.
party is at
70.
today?
The reason why I say 70 is that you don't assume that it will disappear one day. It certainly won't disappear one day. But as the new chairman emerges, he will continue to see how he will strengthen the party to an election. When we win the election, we'll continue to get to 100%. It won't be an immediate thing.
So, we saw your very strong hand behind pushing Abdullah Adamu.
You're wrong.
So you are not supporting Abdullah Adamu?
No, at least I'm not supporting Abdullah Adamu.
So those who say that you were a strong supporter of Abdullah Adamu, they were wrong?
I'm a supporter of the consensus. So when they reach the consensus, I'm a supporter of the consensus. Not that I'm a supporter
No, because what we understand in the APC is that Abdullah Adamu, Amaechi is strongly pushing for him.
So, one mistake everybody is making is that for a very long time, nobody has heard my voice. Just because nobody saw me in front of any candidate, you just reach conclusions. Nobody can tell you today that he saw me before in front of Akume or in front of Amakura or that of Abdullah Adamu. I was just calm and quiet to allow the party process to let who they want, and we're back.
Some of us, like my colleague here, God has blessed us with the talent of knowledge of some of these things, and when we hear it, you know that they are almost 100%.
You must be a magician.
No, because if you know what you're doing, sometimes you're almost apt in what you say. So when we ask you these questions, we're not asking out of the blue.
Okay,
so the question is that, what gives you, what impression or what is the inspiration behind your support for Abdoulaye Adamu?
No, you're asking the wrong question. You make it look as if I personally will be supporting Abdoulaye.
No, I'm not saying you personally. I'm saying that you.
The consensus candidate that has emerged through the president and the governor and the other stakeholders.
Is it true or not that you are supporting Abdoulaye Adamu?
I'm supporting the consensus candidate. So since Abdoulaye
Which is Abdoulaye Adamu?
Since Abdoulaye Adamu is the consensus candidate, all of us that we are consulted are supporting the consensus candidate.
So the same question coming back to, what is your inspiration of supporting him?
Because it will be a good leader. You see, all of them are qualified to lead the party. All. Amakura was a governor. He was a wonderful leader. You can hear Akume was a wonderful governor when he was in Benue. My friend Mustafa, young, vibrant, eager to rule. 313 Senator Musa, very qualified. You can't be a senator if you're not qualified, right? All of them are qualified. All. But one person will emerge. It's what we call in the parliament, first among equals. Everybody's qualified to be Senate President, everybody's qualified to be the Speaker, but amongst them they choose one person who is first among equals. So what Abdoulaye Adamu is doing is representing everybody in the party as first among equals.
Can you tell us how that decision was arrived at?
Consultations, the president consulted everybody, consulted the governor, some of the stakeholders. We had a dinner with the president. I'm sure you saw the photograph of Tinubu, myself,
the founding members.
Everybody was consulted, and it was a consensus that, okay, all of them are qualified, but we think this can manage the party for now, pending when the tenure is over.
What qualities stood him out above the rest?
Above the rest, it will be difficult to answer that question. It's very difficult to answer that question because, like I said, they are all qualified. But it's a matter of choice that amongst all of them, one person must emerge as a chairman.
So, on a final note, your friend, the governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, has stamped his feet in the politics of Rivers. And I know they say that charity begins at home. You have your eyes back at home in Rivers State. How easy do you think is it to run?
Eyes are here. This is my home now. My eyes are here in Abuja.
So you're not thinking about how to...
my governor now is the minister of FCT. I live and do business here.
So you're not going back to Rivers State as a local base?
Well, when we get to the bridge, we'll cross the bridge. For now, Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria...
Are you afraid of Nyesom Wike?
Very afraid. I'm very afraid.
Why are you afraid of him?
Because I'm a man. What's your problem? What's your problem? When we get to the bridge, we'll cross the bridge.
All right. I said on a final note, but on a final note,
I hope this is the final note.
It's a fact that how true is it that there was an agreement within the founding leaders of the party that the ACM bloc of the APC will have the president and the CPC bloc of the APC will have the national chairman. Was that part of the agreement with the president?
When was the agreement?
No, I'm asking you were at that meeting.
I wasn't. I'm not aware. I'm asking you if you know of such a meeting. I've never heard of such a meeting. I've never heard of such decisions. I only read it in the papers. I read it in Vanguard. I'm hearing it from you now. Never have we had such a meeting before. The parties that merged are dead. There's only one party now called APC. If you want to run, you can run.
But those interests are still there.
No problem.
You can't take it away.
No problem. But you'll be shocked that a CPC person will be voting for an ACM person. An ACM person will be voting for the new PDP. A new PDP person will be voting for an... We have passed that stage of CPC. And by the way, we passed the stage of hearing about where you come from. See, it's one united country called Nigeria. We must be able to carry the interest of everybody. I must feel at home when I go to the southwest. I must feel that I'm a Yoruba man. Just as I must feel at home being a Danamana in Daura.
It might be easy for you because you are Rotimi and you are Chibike.
But I'm not a Musa. But I'm at home when I go to the north.
And you have been turbaned now.
So they turban me. That's why I'm not from the north. So that's one way to forge ahead that we are one country. The interest will not be based on religion or tribe. It will be based on, just like you. You're not from Ikore, but you're my friend. If I see anything that will benefit you, I will do it. Just like I'm not from Ikore. Just like her, the same. I don't remember that she's Yoruba. I just see her as my friend. I see you as my friend. It's not important where you come from. Merit is essential.
All right. Thank you so much indeed. And we want to wish you and your party the very best. And when you have decided to run for president, which you know that if there is a possibility, do let us know. Thank you so much.
That will be the vice. SGF. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Chibike Rotimi Amaechi, the Minister for Transportation. Such an interesting man there.
I keep wondering why he runs away from that question, show. He claims he didn't see any of the banners. Meanwhile, if you look just outside the square, you're going to see his face on so many banners just around the square.
Yeah, we will be welcoming yet another guest on the chairman of the Governors Forum, the Governor of Ekiti State, Governor Fayemi. We'll be welcoming him in a moment to join us and speak. He's one of those that will be maybe a non-voting, well, let's find out from him whether he's a statutory delegate, a voting delegate, or an observatory delegate. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, the Governor of Ekiti State and Chairman of the Governors Forum, Governor Fayemi. Thank you so much for coming into our makeshift studio.
Thank you
Please take this, sir.
Thank you for hijacking me.
You're a friend of the house, isn't it?
Okay.
So how is it coming? How do you feel? Because you and your friends, you've had fights, you had disagreements in the Governors Forum of the APC, and you are here today. How does that make you feel?
We're not a choral service. We are a political party. Political parties are defined by robust debates, by disagreements, by contentions, and ultimately we disagree without being disagreeable, but we've come to the place we want to be. We want the convention to take place. Now the convention is taking place so that we can have an elected executive that is not susceptible to manipulations from courts or any other individual who do not want us to be on the ballot for the 2023 election. That's been our interest, and that interest has now been accomplished.
Is that guaranteed, though, that all is settled in terms of all the legal intricacies that might crop up? Have you settled all of those?
Well, legal intricacies would always come up. What is important is for us to ensure that we have done things in accordance with the law and with the Electoral Act stipulations. And that's really what we have done. We can't legislate against people going to court. This is a democracy, so that should not surprise us if they do. But we would be ready. We would not have put ourselves in a position that others will blame us.
Just yesterday, we heard that the PDP was in court trying to torpedo the process of this convention, saying that you had just 13 members in the caretaker committee as opposed to 24, which you should have, representing 2/3 of the country. How does the APC respond to that?
Frankly, we will meet PDP in court, but it's a laughable position to take. It is trying to get into office through the back door. They are afraid of an election in which the Nigerian people would have the final say. That is why they're using vehicles that are not legitimate. You may have legal vehicles, but what is legal sometimes is not necessarily legitimate. We are after legality, but ultimately we are after legitimacy. If they are sure of themselves, they should meet us on the field. We will put our manifesto on one side and we'll put our performance record on the other side. They should also come to Nigerian people with the same thing, and then we'll let the Nigerian people judge. It's not the court that should elect presidents or governors for Nigeria.
This issue of legality has been on the front burner for quite a while, I think since the verdict, the Supreme Court judgment, which confirmed the election of the governor of Ondo State. There have been questions around the legality or otherwise of this caretaker committee of the extraordinary caretaker committee of the APC. And there have been questions as to whether even the convention being organized today will not have implications for the primaries that will come up for the APC in future. Do you exercise any such fears?
We're not afraid of courts. Courts are there to adjudicate in matters brought before them. The matter to which you referred, Jegede versus Akeredolu, don't forget, was in our favor. It was not in favor of the litigant that said the caretaker committee was not properly constituted. We won that case 4-3, and that is the subsisting position of the law. So as far as we are concerned, the caretaker committee is legal, and We are now in process of replacing that caretaker committee with an elected executive. And INEC has sanctioned what we're doing here today because we informed them in accordance with the Electoral Act. And they have not said, don't do it, because what you're doing is not allowed by law and by the provisions of the Act. So what can one say? PDP can continue to entertain themselves.
Is this how you envisaged that the convention was going to go down? The fact that we're having, at least we're sure of one position which is going to be going down by consensus.
I hope we'll get more going down by consensus.
Is that really in favor of the party? Why is your party afraid of democracy anyway?
The party is fully enamored of democracy, but we have had contention. Sheon said it. We've had debates. We've had robust arguments, and we've come to a unity, a united position on this. And that's basically what has happened. I'm not suggesting that some positions will still not be contested. I don't know. However, I'm glad that we have reached a consensus, and all our chairmanship aspirants have voluntarily withdrawn from the race and embraced the choice of the party.
So, if you move away from what's happening, what is this we're hearing about your ambition of wanting to become president? Is that true?
Good try. We're only talking about convention here. The primaries convention will come later. And when we cross that bridge, we will know those who are in it.
Are you one of them?
I have not come to that conclusion yet.
We must sincerely thank you, Your Excellency, for coming to our makeshift studio. And thank you so much, and wish you and the party the best today.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Malkwe.
Thank you so much.
It's always a delight to talk to you guys.
Thank you so much.
Especially when you are not going outside the remit.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Your Excellency, the Governor of Ekiti State and the Chairman of the the Governors Forum. I guess my colleague Terry Ikumi is ready at the heart of the arena to give us some update. Terry?
Of the Deputy Senate President of the National Assembly of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Abiyaomo Ojeje, sir, you're welcome. You're welcome. All other honorables and excellencies here present acknowledge, and even those who are yet to acknowledge, we say most sincerely, you're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. Officially announcing off stage, coming on the co-chair of the very committee, the Dan Amanar Dutse and the Tafida Baba of Doram, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Chairman Extraordinary Alaji Nasiru Haladu Dano is here in the midst of us, in company of Dr. Senator Domingo.
Let's continue the conversation, guys. I have a member of the House of Representatives from Abia State here, Honorable Sam Onwigbo. Honorable, welcome to our ABC Convention studio. I'd like to ask you first what you think about the whole setup and the convention.
The setup is nice. A lot of work went into it, and you can see everywhere it's filled up, and in no time we shall be commencing the convention proper.
Are you satisfied with the way things have gone now? Because for many, they expected that this would have commenced by now, but it doesn't seem to be the case. What's the hold-up for? The VVIPs are yet to be seated. What's the hold-up for?
So while we were standing here, several announcements were made, even including the arrival of the Deputy Senate President. So I have no doubt whatsoever that in no time, all from the Deputy Senate President, the Senate President, the Vice President, and the President, I think we're almost there.
You know, I would like to ask you, because we understand there are some zones that have arrived at a consensus. Has your zone arrived at a consensus with regards to the zoning arrangement that was adopted?
Well, I think we have gone through this, you know, in a manner that is transparent. Consensus is part of the law,
that we just passed. So I don't have any doubt whatsoever that everything will work out well.
You're not aware if your zone has a consensus candidate for the position that was zoned to it?
Come again?
You're not aware if your zone has a consensus candidate for the position that was zoned to it?
Oh no, I know that a number of people, bought forms and also went through screening. But we saw some of them on the platform. I think it's been resolved. It's been zoned.
So there are concerns about some of the positions being contested for example, the chairman of the party. We understand that some members of the party, some aspirants for that position have stepped down for Senator Abdullahi Adamu. Can you confirm that?
I'm aware that very many members, very many aspirants have stepped down. So if there's anyone left, the person is free to contest because it's a democratic process. But there's clear direction how the party wants to go to reduce, friction and ensure that we go forward. But again, do not forget that consensus is part of the law that we just passed and which has been assented to. It's in our laws.
So finally, do you have any concerns about the voting arrangements here? Recall the controversy surrounding Section 84, Subsection 12 of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill of the Electoral Act as passed, and whether or not political appointees will participate in the voting process today.
It's a settled matter. The party has come out in a statement and said that political appointees will not vote. We don't want any confusion. We don't want a situation where someone is elected today and then tomorrow there's an issue maybe through the court. So they are not going to vote. And of course from the legislature we said they are not supposed to vote. So I think that one too is a matter that, see, let me tell you, we are running a constitutional government. And in a constitutional government, everything is based on the law. It's written. And that's why we come here from time to time, maybe in every 4 years, to make sure that we renew the mandate of party administrators, and then those of us who are elected officials, we also go for election. That's the essence of constitutionalism.
Honorable Sam Onugbo, thank you very much for coming to speak with us. Thank you very much. So there you have it. Honorable Sam Onugbo has just confirmed that some aspirants for the position of chairman have stepped down for Senator Abdullahi Adamu. He can't confirm, however, if all the aspirants did step down. But yes, some of them have stepped down. And also, he is quite clear that the issue of political appointees voting will not come up here today. So we're quite behind schedule with regard to when this is supposed to commence, but it's quite agog here, and you can see me running away from the party. This is Governor Dave Umahi's entourage making an entrance here. I'll just go back to you, Maokpe, even though the event is yet to start. Shehu, you can agree with me that the music has been amazing. Back to you.
All right, yeah. My colleague Terry Kumi almost swamped up by the rallying.
You would almost imagine that this was a campaign rally instead of a convention. And it's not even the faces of those who are going to be contesting at the convention.
Yeah.
It is for the elections in 2023, I guess ahead of the primaries that the APC is going to be conducting.
You know, it's like you're going to the floor of the stock exchange. You need to make an impression to your would-be buyers. So when any politician is coming into this arena, he needs to make an impression. And that's the kind of thing I will say here, where every politician that is worth his salt will come into this arena to make an impression and get his followers to get into the arena and make the loudest noise as much as they can.
Indeed, Shehu. That's what you keep saying, and I'm sure that, I think we call it photo bombing, where, you know, the reporter is looking for his own shots, looking for what he wants to signpost his report against, but the people have other ideas. When they see a camera, it's also an opportunity to, you know, advertise who their candidates are. So they're photobombing the shots.
Talk about one of the elements of political reporting, unpredictability.
Indeed.
You never can, you just can anticipate the unexpected, but you may not see such a thing coming. So that's one of the things that happen when you are live on the field in a political arena, reporting live on television. My colleague Terry Kumi is used to reporting the commotion in the National Assembly Not this kind of commotion.
You can call it a commotion again, Shewo. I did tell you that, you know, when I was coming here, I had to make my way through crowds. I mean, there were layers and layers of crowds because there were also layers and layers of security approaching the Eagle Square today. And it is remarkable that this event is taking place in the Eagle Square. Don't forget that it was built at the dawn of the Fourth Republic, as Nigeria was about to enter the Fourth Republic in 1999. This square was built to mark that epoch-making event, you know, another entrance into a democratic era. So every time we have an event signposting a democratic event, it is just fitting, I believe, that it happens right here.
This is quite interesting, Malpa.
Yes?
In one single frame,
you're saying what I see.
Two former governors of Edo State and two former chairmen of the APC, John Odigio and Adams Oshiomhole.
Does their sitting position tell you anything, though, in terms of how they're seated? You know that, you know, the exit of John Odigio wasn't exactly an easy one.
Absolutely.
And of course, he was succeeded by another former governor of Edo State, Adams Oshiomhole, and it didn't look like they were getting along when one was trying to succeed the other. If you're looking at their sitting position, I don't know if you can get that shot again. You have to ask, have they been able to mend fences and get past, you know, the debacle that was before them when one was handed over to the other?
If the use of the word body language is anything to go by, in the beginning of this administration, if you analyze the body language of the two men, you can tell that maybe they're not back on the same page as they used to be. I mean, in the last election in Edo State, they were not quite on the same page.
No, they weren't.
And looking at how they both exited the stage as the chairman of the APC wasn't what anyone will dream of, but they played their role in the history of this party, and you cannot wish the roles away as far as Nigeria's democracy and the ruling APC history is concerned.
Well, I wasn't sure what happened when the former chairman, John Odigio came in, but I happened to be in the middle of the square when former chairman Adams Oshiomhole walked in, and he still made quite an entrance. He still got calls of Osho Baba, you know, so he still seems quite popular amongst the grassroots.
So many versions of his name: Osho Baba, Osho Kwek, Osho Kutuweri. They've given him so many versions. Look at it there, dancing and some kind of festivities going on right here. And the whole essence is waiting for the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces and the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the leader of the APC, President Muhammadu Buhari. They're waiting for his arrival, which will signal the effective kickstart of this exercise.
What a role he's played so far in the party. It would seem before now that the president was hoping that his party would play its role as party and he could play his role as president. But he's since found that he has had to intervene. And perhaps if not because of him, maybe we will not have this convention happening today. Shewo, you are the expert here. What did you read behind the scenes?
I saw a lot of danger looming for the APC, a party that is not even, it's not even in its teens. It's less than 10-year-old, and it has experienced what adult political parties who will have experienced in their lifetime, but they've been lucky. They came into existence, less than 2 years they got power. Do they know what they wanted to do with power? That is left to the electorate to decide. What they've done in the last 7 years is also left for analysts and Nigerians to analyze whether or not they've gotten the best of the promises they've made based on their performance in the last 7 years. Also, the quality of leadership that the APC has been able to bequeath to Nigeria. Is it the best that Nigerians deserve? Going into 2023, that will be called to question whether or not they have given or they have come up to par with the expectation of the leadership recruitment that the Nigerian situation demands.
Indeed, Shewo. While the Nigerian electorate will be posing the questions and answering them themselves in 2023, you have to ask about the organization of political parties within our country. And it would seem that today, the president has had to, exercise his authority and throw his weight around to ensure that this convention happened today. We saw the drama of the last 2 weeks where he went to Kenya, was supposed to go to London from there, but made a surprise comeback to Nigeria. We saw the shenanigans that happened around that time where a governor of the party said that another governor had been asked to take over the organization of the convention. We also saw that the CECPC had new life, it would seem, breathed into it, different from what had been happening under the leadership of Mai Mala Buni. But we also saw that, like a cat with 9 lives, Mai Mala Buni was able to come back and, reassert his authority with the authority of the president. You have to ask, what role did INEC really have to play in that return of Mai Mala Buni as the chairman of the caretaker committee of the party?
Well, I mean, absolutely, a very big role, Malpa. But one other role that is very crucial in perhaps APC getting back in line is the law. They are quick to be reminded of not flouting the extant laws. The constitution of their own party, the Electoral Act, and the Nigerian Constitution. And the party seem to have made some mistakes, which they realize, and perhaps they've taken some few steps backwards to retrace their steps and get them back in line. And it's good for us to allow the systems to work. When the systems work, things will work and people will get a benefit of democracy. And a lot of what we have seen today, this day will not have happened if, for example, INEC did not come up with a timetable. And the party has realized that if it did not work according to that timetable, they will be losing out. They had a problem in Zamfara State, they had a problem in River State, and these are based on legalities and technicalities. If anything, talking about learning from history, if that is anything to go by, maybe the APC is doing the right thing by learning from history, a painful history for the APC in Zamfara election, where they've done everything wrong in the activities leading up to the election, and they lost that. Well, they had the governor defect into the APC, where they got that state back. So there's a lot to learn. And from what we are seeing, the APC is running behind schedule based on their own timetable for today, that they will start at about 1 p.m. with the arrival of guests and the VVIPs. And today, we've not seen so much of that.
Well, it's 10 minutes, about 5 minutes past 5 o'clock now, and we're still waiting for the arrival of, I think the person when we'll know that things are about to get serious is when we see the arrival of the speaker. The speaker should arrive first, and then we'll see the arrival of the Senate president, and then the vice president, and then the arrival of the president himself. And then the event will start. But perhaps, I mean, we've been told that the accreditation is what is also delaying, delaying the delegates from coming into the square. But given the fact that, consensus looks like what is flying in the air, maybe they're still on schedule according to another timetable that they have that we don't know about.
Marpa, you might be some sort of stranger to political party convention, but I must tell you that the unity list that have been talked about, so much talked about, we usually find, this is about the hour, at the unity list we arrive at the arena. I've not seen any version of that, because we always find different version of the unity list. That has not happened, and hopefully when the unity list come, you will see it flying, the photocopies of such lists will come. But I understand now that my colleague Kela Megua is standing by to give us some update from the arena. Kela.
We think you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yes, we're still live here. Still no word on the Big Four. All right, so the president, the vice president, the Speaker of the House of Representatives and the Senate President are still not here, but we've seen quite a number of dignitaries, a lot of them even in our studios, people coming in from all over the country, of course, for this All Progressives Congress Party Convention, one of the most important conventions of this party. It's pertinent to know that this is going to be the first time that President Muhammadu Buhari will not be on the ticket for 2023. So it is very crucial that the All Progressives Congress gets its house in order in preparation for 2023, and that is the core of the message for this particular convention, how to unite the party, how to get all these different blocks together to form one party that will be able to take over power come 2023, and that's what this particular convention is focusing on. Of course, we're seeing a lot of festivities, a lot of people dancing, there's a lot of rallying and walking around and talking, a lot of connections being made. We're seeing a lot of people from the diplomatic corps here. We also have a lot of observers from around the world at this particular convention, but still no word on the Big Four. But we're still watching to see what happens in the next few hours. We'll be looking forward to what speeches are made, what's going to be the content of those speeches, who's going to be voted for, who's going to be a consensus candidate. Those are some of the things that we're looking out for. Still waiting on the President, the Vice President, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and the Senate President to be here. They're not here yet, but of course a lot of delegates, 7,500 and above, we've heard, from all over the country, right here for this convention at the Eagle Square in Abuja. Most of that, but basically, what we're seeing around us here is a lot of people getting ready for the votes that may come up. So there might be some voting going on. And like I said earlier, some candidates will be consensus candidates, others will be voted in. So the preparations for that are going on. Actually, over to my right, there's a lot of ballot boxes and people strategically positioned to get ready for that particular situation. Just all the way there to my left, we're seeing different states. So there's going to be a lot of elections in the state level. So the ballot boxes are in place over there, and we're seeing a lot of people getting ready for the elections that will be happening at that area. We tried to get some information on what candidates might be consensus candidates. Is there going to be a unity list, as we had heard earlier? But no one is speaking up. Everyone is tight-lipped. So basically, the media would have to listen up for what they will say when they come up, when the leaders of the party actually come up. But right now, we do see ballot boxes, which means that some kind of voting will be taking place here at the Eagle Square. So we'll be looking out for this. It's going to be a very long night. It's turning out to be a very long day. We've been here since morning, and the president is still not here. And of course, the activities will not start until the president gets here. So we're seeing all of that happening right now. Still watching to see, what the outcome will be, but most importantly, to hear the voices of the leaders of the All Progressives Congress. Are they going to be speaking in one voice? Is there going to be some kind of controversy? No one knows yet, but we'll be listening for that and looking out to see who's voted in and who has been a consensus candidate at this particular convention.
In company of the deputy governor, Dr. Nat'l Governor, they are all in here. And the Commissioner of Information, former NUJ President of the Federation of Nigeria, Alaji Mohamed Garba, Alaji Murtala Sulengaru are all part of the entourage. Ladies and gentlemen, Chairman Inugu Chapter of APC, Mr. Ogoke Joseph Otuzi is here, and we say you're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. Queen Mrs. Lulu Mwafo is not forgotten. You're welcome equally, and we appropriately recognize and announce your arrival in here. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, Senator Yusuf Abubakar Yusuf, Taraba Central. Ladies and gentlemen, the member representing Senate and the APC Caretaker Committee. His Excellency, Governor of Cross River State, Senator Professor Ben Ayade and his wife, Dr. Mrs. Linda Ayade, and the Deputy Governor, Professor Evan Isu, are equally in this very important venue. Ladies and gentlemen, all of us are gathered in here for the National Convention of the All Progressive Congress, the APC. Ladies, the venue where leaders of the party will be so elected or rectified. We are here awaiting the kickstarting of this very important event. But most of the personality that will grace us occasion.
My colleague Kayla Maguire right in the heart of the arena there. But I mean, Mark, it looks so much that the president might tarry further. It's against the expectation that as soon as it comes, he's going to allow this exercise to be resumed. But we might just have a situation where we go back to Lagos for our regular programming, and at such time that the exercise look to get underway, we will definitely return back to the arena, but we'll return back to Lagos for our regular programming.
Well, yes, a bit of disturbance going on right behind us because we're very close to the state box, and sometimes you have to look to be sure of what is going on around, but it's just followers who are trying to hail, contenders who are also coming to the square. Well, it is true that we're waiting the president's arrival, and we believe that he'll be here anytime soon, and the event will, be on the way anytime soon. But you can rest assured that if you keep it logged on here on Channels Television, we will be giving you blow-by-blow account of how it's going down here at the APC Convention 2022.
All right, that's it for now. Until we are back again, you're still watching the continued coverage of the APC National Convention 2022. On behalf of Channels Television, myself and my colleagues will be right back here, standing by as soon as the exercise gets underway. Do stay with Channels Television.
The Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment